Last time I was at the Cabaret venue, I was judging an event called Smut Slam. If you can't tell from the name, it's when people share their bleakest stories of sex and to be embarrassing as possible and get awarded points on it. Tonight is very, very different. There hasn't been any tales of shagging yet. I'm not saying I'm bringing any, but everyone has been so informative and inspiring so far that I felt I needed to bring the vibe down to my level. So I'd like to start off with a reading from a publication that I was lucky to be part of last year called Room Ystafell, where I got to work with the British Council and Parthian to work on this project between Vietnam and Wales and looking at queerness and what brings together, not what tears us apart and what makes us different, but what the things that connect us as well between queer people in both countries. And it's an amazing piece of work. Not mine, everyone else's, but it contains photography, collage, short stories, essays, poetry, and it's been beautiful to be a part of. And I'd like to just share an extract of my work. It's called Mother Lenin Joyance. A boy's mother weeping, hair trailing scummy pond water ends, algae dip dyed, a botched job, subtle breeze brushes twiggy locks into the path of surface skaters. My favourite word is a tut-tut-tut-tut. I find myself rubbing my belly, watching fathers teach children their first murder. To start, you tear up the body, you break it into bits, and then you offer it up for the ducks, little deities. Bloated little Jesus, the size of a shoe floating face down. Why is she crying? You'd think she'd be over it by now. A child's death, a toy soldier, his skin trapped in a stone prison, preserved from raw air, the unfiltered gaze from men tearing newspaper into strips to roll their chicken-scented cigarettes, and mothers yet to face the death of a child. At the park the other day, I saw a mother's son choking on a bap. The father slapped the boy's back with an open palm. She swiped his hand away, proceeded with the Heimlich maneuver. Mothers are always right. So she pumped his chest with a closed fist until out sprung the bready treat and the ducks were fed once more. Maybe her weeping is just because. Or because his body's grey when he should be wearing colour. Or because the cloth of butterfly wings shroud his body a purple breath's distance. When he was a young statue, a snake coiled his arm like a beautiful dream with teeth. Man, his drama really must have been something. On at least 2 occasions, he was stolen and later found, disguised by bushes bedded in dirt. What about the hands that have desired the curve of his stone body? Hands speak when mouths cannot. Have I been watching too many Derek Jarman films? Or not enough? Who stole him? Who had their way with the young Pan? So many men walk with their hands in their pockets. I want to know what those hands say. Is the love line of their palm bent like a widow's spine? His face, oblivious, smiles to the sun regardless. One blink is a year. His palms are washed smooth. Maybe that's why she weeps for him. The nights he got disappeared, nights of not knowing, his total lack of awareness. Trauma cakes the stone like dried shit that Welsh rain can't wash away. But it's so me to think about the end of things, flowers, boyhood, the life cycle of ducks. When the sun is shining, the coffee is sweet, and the dogs are friendly. I have come to believe that depression is incurable, but that might be the depression talking. That one was quite depressing. If you thought it was going to get better, you thought wrong. I'd like to finish with an extract from a story called It's Black Country Out There from my collection, Local Fires. In all our years spent together, I never brought Simon here to Llanelli. I didn't want him to see the side of me, the place I'm from, and when I dream of him, I still do. We're at opposite ends of a seesaw, legs dangling over a chasm of the blackest black. The whole absorbs all light. We can't see each other, but we can feel the other's weight at either end, us both responsible for the other's wellness and their demise. I wake up most nights in a sweat just as Simon begins to fall. The sudden lack of weight on his end of the saw slams me into the ground. The stillness of the street is suffocating and it's sticky. I long for movement, a car, a pair of muddy walking boots left on the doorstep, but every house on this street is a mask hiding its darkness, its empty rooms. The street lights are matchsticks, burning out and bent over with the burden of their task, dispelling the heavy night until morning comes. I stand at the open window and I allow the night air to cool my damp skin. I read Simon's letter, the one he wrote before he left, the one he wrote before he lied about why we were breaking up, that he simply felt the relationship had come to its natural end. He didn't tell me he was ill. We shared everything. We confided in each other. Maybe that's why he couldn't tell me. The alarm clock by the side of the bed reads 2:37 a.m. It's 1 year since Simon died from an illness that left him thin and weak and alone in an unknown hospital. When I think of him in the days leading up to his death, his stomach caved in and his eye sockets like two magic 8-balls. Give it a rattle. Yes, no, possibly, maybe, so. Ask me again. What the fuck was the question? I think of how still he must have laid in that hospital bed, in practice for an eternity underground. I look out the window at the street below. The pothole at night is a vacuum inhaling all colour. I watch it creep up the path and I wish it to swallow me whole. I wish for every black hole in this country to grow in size till there's no hill or stone or spruce tree left untouched, no railway line, no factories, no waiting rooms, no churches. The coast behind the houses, the swampland and the peninsula are all part of this black country landscape. This is a grieving country of which I am part of. This house means nothing to me. Why would it? This place never knew us, never knew Simon. Without him, I am in waiting. The hall has reached the front door.